What's going on, people? How you guys doing? Thank you so much for joining me. I got a special guest today, all the way from Netherlands. So this is going to be really fun. There's a few of you guys in here. Thanks for joining. So guys, if you're new to this, don't forget to hit the subscribe, like. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. Without further ado, I'd like to bring in somebody. You know what? I really respect her just because she's natural. She knows her shit. She's funny as hell. So I'm going to bring in my friend, Sanimation 05 is where you can find her, but her name is Sana. So here we go. What's going on?
Hello.
So this is the first time we are meeting.
Yes.
So we got a Canadian and a Netherlands thing. We've talked briefly about how, we're both from different countries. So I got to ask, what is the difference between Holland and Netherlands?
Well, Holland is a province. We have North Holland and South Holland. And the Netherlands is the country. But during the whole colonial thing, the harbors were in the North Holland and South Holland, the provinces. So they always wrote Holland on there.
Okay.
And that's how a lot of countries think Holland is the same as the Netherlands.
Yeah, because around, I know here in Canada, people are like Holland, Netherlands. And I remember I went to a comedy show once, and the guy's like, he made a good point. He's like, are you Netherlands? Are you Hollands? Just make your mind up, right? And from that day, I was just always like, okay, what are they? Like, because I haven't really met too many Dutch people. So, it's just interesting.
But even the Dutch people make the mistake. So they say I'm from Holland. So.
And your English is amazing. I think you said that English was the second language there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to go in the chat. Wow, there's a few of you guys here. Evan, what's going on? How you doing, brother?
Hello.
FaceTime, thank you for joining us. Nerdy Father, my good friend, Mr. Freeze. Comic on the Mind. How you doing, brother? Happy Saturday. Yes. I don't know where you guys are, but where I am, it is rainy and gray. So I have no idea if it's a good Saturday for you guys.
Oh, that's typical.
Comic book spot. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Thank you for joining us. All right, we got Burke. It's Morphin time, of course. I wouldn't expect anything other than a Turtles reference or a Power Rangers reference. So thank you for joining. Stay Puff. How you doing, brother? So yeah, let's get into it. I think, like I told you earlier, I've been away from my phone. I haven't been on the laptop, so I haven't been able to talk comics. So I am.
Then you invite me.
Burke, now you're just showing off. So that's not funny. But yeah, guys, we're gonna be asking Sanimation 05 here some comic questions. Let's start with favorite characters. Like, what are some of your favorite characters?
Ooh, well, first of all, Carol Danvers. Yay, haters gonna hate.
Yeah.
Babe Nito.
Magneto. Okay,
yeah. Who else? Witchblade.
Witchblade.
Sure.
Okay. So not like your everyday household names that you would hear, right? Like, because usually you'd hear like, Wolverine, Captain America, or things like that. So it's kind of cool that and you branched out to other characters. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, that was my introduction to comics. But later on, you discover your own characters and then you fall for different characters. But yeah, for sure, Wolverine was one of the first characters that I knew and liked. But
yeah, and the thing that I thought was kind of pretty cool too is the fact that you made a good point about the Professor X and the Magneto thing. I thought it was actually pretty cool. You wanna explain? You wanna kind of talk about that?
Yeah. Well, growing up with the cartoons and the comics, you see Xavier always as the good guy, even in the movies.
Yeah.
And Magneto is always the bad guy. But now reading the comics, it's like Xavier is a manipulator, and Magneto is someone who is more human. So yeah, I tend to go more towards Magneto now than a manipulator and a dictator that could just fool your mind without even knowing it. Like, dude, the X-Men really, like, are they really there because of the good cause, or did Xavier manipulate them to be there?
Yeah.
You know, that's the question. So
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, until you actually had said that, I was just kind of like, wow, you know, like I never really kind of thought about it like that. So it was kind of like a cool concept.
Yeah, because I talked about it with Kirk. I know he's in the chat because we were talking on the phone and we were talking about Xavier and Magneto. And
it's kind of crazy though. Yeah, and you know what? I want them. I hopefully when they do the new X-Men stuff, like I really want them to portray him like really well, because Magneto was always one of my favorite characters too. Like not favorite, like you know. Where I would put like Iron Man, let's say, but he just the mutant powers that he had and things like that. I always just thought they kind of didn't do him properly, you know.
Same with Rogue.
I think you and I stay in the same place where we think Rogue is going to show up in Captain Marvel 2. And I think it was interesting because you agreed with me. We both think that Rogue is going to take the powers from Captain Marvel, right?
Yes.
So are we expecting like Rogue to be like the main villain, do you think, or what do you think?
Well, I think it's a good way to introduce mutants into the MCU, and you know, Rogue being always portrayed as the whiny little Southern girl before. I think it's a good way to make her, you know, drain Brie Larson because she's a cunt. And
oh my god, guys, this is not a
rated R.
Not a PG-13 show.
Sorry.
But
yeah, that's my opinion. I really hope that she's going to, you know, drain Captain Marvel, and I will be excited. I will probably be wearing my Captain Marvel t-shirt, but when it happens, I'm like, yes.
So is it safe to say that you're more excited for, because I know that that's one of your favorite characters, you've said it, is that one of the movies that you're looking forward to in the future more than another, or is, like, let's say X-Men one that you're looking forward to more?
Well, I like Rogue and Carol Danvers as characters on their own, so I hope the next Captain Marvel movie will be more interesting than the one that's out now.
Yeah.
And yeah, with movies, I'm looking forward to the Eternals, but just for the Angelina Jolie reasons.
Oh, big fan of hers?
Yeah, a big fan. Oh, we're technically married for 20 years, so.
Oh wow. So I don't know if you've caught some of my stuff where I have I've actually talked about it, but I think the Eternals will be basically a mirror image of Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Like before they came out, it was just, you know, a lot of people were like, well, that's not really a popular book. It's not something cool. And then it turned out to be like a really great trilogy, because the third movie is coming out. I think that's where Eternals is going to go. I really do. I think, and with the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff and Thor already being in the cosmic play, I think it's a good way to introduce them as well. But yeah, there's so many avenues, right? Like you got X-Men, Avengers, Fantastic Four. There's so much. So
Fantastic Four, justice for Fantastic Four, man.
Okay, so there's been 3 movies of Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of any of them?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just because they were horrible, or is there like a reason why?
I couldn't really get into it because, you know, this was the time where you had the X-Men movies and the Spider-Man movies, you know, the one from the post in the back. I don't know if it's visible, you know, but those movies were really cool. And then there was that movie, and I really consider those movies more, you know, like the fireplace background on your screen. Like you just have it play on the background, maybe while taking a shit.
Yeah.
So there.
All 3 movies. So yeah, I got a buddy here who definitely is not a fan of the Guardians. I know Mr. Freeze is a big Eternals fan, so he could be saying that just out of pure hate. Better see a good.
Oh, Medusa, yes.
Yeah, I've heard a few things about that. I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't show up. I think it's time. I think they might have to touch on, you know, going back to like the Inhumans as well. There's just so many things that, you know, you could say, especially when you touch on Fantastic Four, because it's one of those. I put Fantastic Four and X-Men in a rare. How do I put this? Like a rare category in the comic world, because there's so many characters, so many villains, so many appearances, things like that, that they could at any time just put any in, right? So it's gonna be fascinating to see where they go.
I really hope Galactus will show up.
Oh, he will. He will. If if you are collecting like a lot of people, that book is, again, I don't know the currency over there in Europe to Canadian, but it is like a $1,400 book here. And that's low grade.
I'll take two.
Yeah. 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 My money tree needed the rain. So, okay. So I want to get to that question. So what got you started into comics though? Because you said that Magneto was one of the first ones. So what actually got you started into comics?
Well, I was reading some comics in the 90s, but last year I was like, you know what? I want to read comic books because I had bought a few books over the years, but I never really gave myself time for it to sit down and enjoy it. Then I was like, fuck it. I need a fucking comic book. So I went out. I was overwhelmed, not knowing what fucking book to get. Again, sorry for the French.
That's okay. For the French,
and I got,
yeah,
the France. And I got the Infinity Gauntlet book. And then I saw Adam Warlock and Maggot. And I'm like, oh! Can I call you daddy?
And then since then, it's just been like a whirlwind. Like you just started picking up issues and things like that.
Yeah, I picked up like the newer issues just to, discover new characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got into the whole in like, you just get into the whole new thing. And then you just keep buying the new books while I was more interested in reading the old books. So now I'm just dropping more the newer issues and just go for trades to, read the books that I really want to read. So
yeah, no, definitely. And how is it there? Like, do you guys get the new comics like every Wednesday, like here in Canada and the US? Like,
yeah.
Is that how yeah, okay,
yeah.
And what's the price? Because I know the US and Canada is different, right? Like I've touched on it before, where Canadian or Americans will pay the cover price, which is $3.99. We here in Canada will probably pay around like $6-7. What is it for you guys? Like, are they expensive?
Well, it depends on the shop that you go to. There are like two shops in Amsterdam. One always overpriced, especially when he bags and boards it, then it's more overpriced. And there is one that sells it for the euro price. So if it's like $5, it should be like €4 that you're paying for a comic book. Yeah.
Is there like that one shop that you're talking about? Because I know there's a few shops where I've been in there and they don't even have prices. So you go into a shop and the guy will, like if I go in there and be like, hey, how much is this? He'll be like, oh, $20. But then you might come in and be like, oh, it's like 40, right? Like, does that happen there a lot?
Yes, the overpriced shop. I had some old 90s Witchblade comics and there was no price on it. So I was like, I don't know the price, but I would like to have it. And they went on eBay to check the price. And the most expensive one, like random Witchblade issues, he would sell them to me for like €6 a piece. I'm like, you fucking rip-off bastard, asswipe.
Okay, so I gotta ask, so it doesn't seem like the comic scene is huge there by like any means, is it? Or like is there a lot of people into comics, do you find, or is it just
yeah, people are into comics or manga. Mm-hmm. And you have the European comics that is also quite a thing here with unknown characters I really don't care about, but to each their own. But there are a few comic book shops here. Not everyone sells like single issues. It's more trades, but the ones that sell single issues, people just go there, or they go there for the manga. So
do you guys have like, for example, like if you wanted new issues, do you guys have the ability to have, let's say, like a pull box somewhere where you can okay, and they come on time every Wednesday? Wow, that's impressive.
Unless there are some issues with Diamond or something like that, then there might be a few days later. But yeah, for sure, on Wednesday you could pick it up.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow, yeah, I didn't know. I thought maybe everything was different. So with that being said, like, is there a lot of cons or like comic festivals in Amsterdam, or do you have to go do you have to drive out to different countries and things like that? Because I know Europe is so close, so you are able to just take one of those trains and go for a weekend. Does that happen, or is there like a scene there?
That happens too, and we have the Dutch Comic Con. Sometimes it happens like twice a year, and all the cosplayers get all excited, the trashy ones. But okay, I shouldn't talk about that. But yeah, there are.
Time. So, do you guys have I don't want to say like big names, but like, do you guys have like really cool artists from like, say, North America come, or is it just basically like all European based artists and writers and things like that?
I know. I saw once a picture of Jim Starlin that was in a con in Italy, and I was like, "Oh, that would have been really great." So
yeah,
it really just depends on where, but usually we get like the C artist,
C
like
art.
the cameo one that was in a bag that comes here, like, "Oh, he is from Captain Marvel. He was in the bag."
I'm assuming that it's more for like those cons are probably more for, let's say, picking up books, right? Because, like some books that you might not be able to grab, right? Because there are some cons in smaller cities that, yeah, the guests aren't that great, but for the most part, a lot of people go to them just because they're able to pick up certain books that they necessarily might not be able to, right?
Yeah, usually the back issues, because then, you know, the dealers come out and people go there for the back issues, and others just go there to meet the other geeks, and others go there to walk around half naked and call it cosplay.
Yeah, that happens here too. Yeah, yeah. See, I guess you could say it's lucky, but yeah, our Comic-Con is June 12th. It's usually the second weekend. Yeah, and I've seen what you're talking about, definitely. Okay, there's a question. I think we talked about it the other day, actually, and I don't know. I can't remember anyway. But what happens with, like, say if you, for example, wanted to send a book to get slabbed, like you have to send it to Sarasota in Florida. Like, does that happen a lot? Do you guys just buy raw? Do you guys buy already slabbed, or is it worth it for you guys to send the book all the way this way?
I'm not really familiar in that area, but I do know people, you know, at the comic shops. There's one particular comic shop in Amsterdam where people just go and, you know, the owner of that shop will look online and get you the slab book. But I don't know if you're going to send it there, because I think if you're going to send it from the Netherlands to America, it will be already a 2.0 or something like that.
Yeah.
And we all want that 14.5.
Yeah, and especially just like, I know from where I am, and I'm about 30 minutes from Buffalo, like the border. So we're on the Canadian side, obviously, of Niagara Falls. So we're about 30 minutes. And I know back in the day when the borders were open, it's just easier for Canadians to go across and then ship it from the US, right? So that way we don't get taxed and all that. But I know, like, if I'm sending it straight from my house in Canada, it's almost like $50 a book. So I can only imagine what it is for you guys, right? And the wait time, right? So, all right, so that's pretty cool. So what got you started on your YouTube platform? What are you trying to do there?
I don't know what I'm trying to do there, to be honest. It was, you know, a lot of people, they encouraged me for a long time, you know, you should do that. And at one point, one boring afternoon, I was like, you know what, fuck it. And I turned the phone on, and yeah.
Well, how long have you been on YouTube? Like, as your own channel?
I think maybe a month and a half now.
Month and a half? And you're already at what, 111 or 120 subscribers? So I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. That's pretty good. And I'm hoping that everybody in this chat goes and subscribes to her. Check out her videos. She has a Q&A that she did, I think it was last Friday, right? I think it was last week sometime. It is
Monday.
Knowledgeable. So basically what you did was, well, I don't know. You explain it. You'll explain it better.
I'll probably make a lot of friends with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just, you know, answering the questions and whatever comes to my mind, and not usually take it for granted, but
yeah. So for those of you that haven't checked it out yet, I hope you guys do. But basically, what she did was she posted on her Instagram just questions, like questions you want to know about her and things like that. She took 10, and basically it's a 22-minute video. I suggest you watch all 22 minutes of it because it's knowledgeable, it's real, it's hilarious, and if you want to see her swear and talk about tits and ass and things like that about certain characters, that's the video you want to go see. I really enjoyed it. I was laughing a few times.
Only a few times?
Yeah, I actually went back a few times to check it out and be like, did she actually say that? But I thought it was really great. Most reliable person on YouTube. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Yep. But that's the thing, right, guys? That's something that when I first started my channel, I was going in, with I'm just going to be me. It's going to be natural. I've had a lot of I don't want to say success because like that just sounds like condescending things like that. But like I've been very appreciative of the support I've gotten. And then when I came across your page and we started talking, and then I started watching your videos, it was like it just came natural, right? So I gravitate to natural people who are just themselves, and you can tell because you swear, you talk, and you're into certain things, and you can see the passion. So it's really cool.
Well, I'm glad it's noticeable.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a question here. It was great hearing about your video game love. Yes. So yeah, you want to talk about that because you are also a gamer as well.
Yeah, part-time, I guess.
Part-time, yeah. So comics is your full-time, gaming is your part-time?
I think full-time is just me discovering who the fuck I am. But aside from that, yeah, I do enjoy gaming, though I should be doing it more. Lately, I'm playing mostly the Yakuza games because I got the remastered version of 3, 4, and 5. And Gran Turismo racing game. So
Gran Turismo, yeah.
Yeah, where I just go with my whole body along. I'm going to stir the wheel. Oh my God, right. And I'm waiting for the remastered version of the Mafia games. I saw it was coming out in August or September because I really love the first 2 games. And I'm kind of curious about the Avengers game as well.
The Avengers game? Yeah. I'm going to probably drop a bombshell here. I have not played a video game in probably 2020. I am probably going to say I haven't played a video game since like 2013. Yeah.
Well, it's not that you've missed a lot, though. I only started gaming since a few months ago. So,
yeah.
Again, since many years.
What's going on, geeky guy? Yeah. But around here, it's something that, I don't know, like, I don't know. I remember being that kid that like people be like, hey, come over, we'll play like, for example, NBA 2K or NHL. And I'm like, or why don't we just go outside and like play basketball or play hockey or do, like, why don't we actually do it? So it's just, yeah, it's funny how that works. So yeah, that's interesting. I did not know you were a gamer as well. So you talked about Magneto. You talked about Carol Devers. You are also an Adam Warlock fan, correct? So
I'm expert though.
No expert, yeah. He's a confusing character too. Like even in the comics. I mean, I think there's like 3 or 4 comics you could probably get to be like his first appearance. You know,
because I have this one, the trade that I still have to read, Jim Starlin. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Really curious about that one. I thought he was an interesting character.
That one, how long ago did that one come out? That one was like,
I think it's just 500 years old at least.
I tried.
Where is it? You should ask Rob. G-Spot, when was this released? Because I think he knows. Where are the goddamn numbers?
It looked a little newer, so I don't know. I think I came across one that was newer, so I just wanted to know if that was.
Well, it's the 80s Jim Starlin stuff, so yeah, or 90s, whatever.
So are you expecting him to? I know I was expecting him in Infinity War. I know I was expecting him in Endgame to come in. You know,
but we got Captain Marvel, man.
Yeah. Carlito, what's going on, brother? I'm expecting him to show up. I'm expecting him to show up in the Fantastic Four side of things. I know a lot of people are saying the Guardians of the Galaxy 3. However, I just think there's going to be way too much going on that it's not going to happen like a lot of people think. I also, you got to remember too, Adam Warlock has the way they did Vision, where like Vision had the stone. Like Adam Warlock is a holder of a stone as well. So. Yeah. I just thought maybe, okay, well, they can't have 2 characters with 2 stones, right? So it's going to be interesting to see.
Maybe he will transform Gamora in the old outfit, with the yellow and the skimpy booby stuff.
Yeah, I'm expecting him to come in as like a villain. I'm not expecting him to come in as a good guy or things like that at all. Like I think he's going to be trouble for like a lot of characters, and I think it's going to be a character that we're going to see throughout, and then maybe he's going to change. I don't know. He might have an interaction with Rogue, I think, because, you know, that could be crazy. Depends on where they're bringing Rogue from, you know, things like that. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So you collect comics. Do you guys have a big, like, say, variant scene there?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know scene, but yeah, there is a run on variants, and especially certain variants are, again, overpriced in certain shops. So
are you a variant person? Like, do you collect variants or no?
if they're pretty,
yeah,
I'll get them.
So just if they're pretty. It's not like if they're like a 1 to 25, a 1 to 100, or like anything special about it. It's just like the art for you.
I really don't pay attention to that. So it's just like if it's pretty.
It's honestly very tricky with variants, I find. Like, I know I was always in like Silver Age and things like that, and I'm just expanding to collecting more of like, not collecting more of modern, because I do have like a lot of modern books. I think a lot of people who are starting off think, okay, modern is like 2000, but realistically, like a modern book is like almost, I think, like 1990, somewhere around there. So, I mean, I have some of the earlier 90 books, but I'm just myself starting to get out and collect some of the variants and things like that. But there's so many of them. B, there's so many covers of like just one, you know, like I remember when it was just like first print, second print. Now it's like 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Right? And then, you know, you just get carried away. A lot of them look similar, but they might have like, I don't know, if the character's got blue eyes in this print, he's got red eyes, right? So you gotta have to be on the lookout. It's just, there's so much, and it's sometimes it's too much. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, like the Captain Marvel #8 issue where everyone suddenly wanted the Captain Marvel book because Star was in it for the first time. I remember the Star logo on the comic. It was two different ones, and people were really diving into it and like, it's fucking different. But
so do you have like a completed run or a lot of books of Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel or anything like that?
I have the 70 series complete, 70s. And the 2006 one complete.
So wait, you have the 70s the whole thing. How many books are in that?
I think 22 or something.
22? Okay, 22. So that's not bad. For a minute, I was thinking like Iron Man, like the collection that I'm trying to finish. Iron Man's got like 400, 300 somewhere in there. So I was just
no. I think recently they did like an anniversary. I think like the 150th solo issue of Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Like that. Yeah.
Now, when we talked about Captain Marvel earlier, you had said, and I quote, that B word for Brie Larson. Yeah. So I'm under the impression that you are not a Brie Larson fan.
No.
Do you think that she portrayed the character good, or? That's how
I don't know. It's just also her attitude that kind of ruined everything. Maybe I shouldn't have watched things of her before or afterwards. You know, it's just a whole attitude. It's like, bitch, please shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so like you're talking about like the interviews that they were doing like with the Marvel cast, like before and after the movie. Yeah. I think everybody was a little surprised. I remember watching the one where they had Chris Evans, Don Cheadle, and her, and she said
a really awkward one.
Yeah, and then he was like, no, and then she said another comment. He just gave her like the dirtiest look, and I remember just laughing like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not really a fan of her necessarily. I'm not a fan of, well, you know how I feel about the character.
Well, I prefer her more as Miss Marvel. I thought she was more badass then, but yeah, we already have Kamala, so that will never happen again unless they're gonna, exchange it. That Kamala becomes Captain Marvel.
Yeah. So my buddy here, Mr. Freeze, says he enjoyed her in her own movie, did not enjoy her at all in Endgame. Well, in Endgame, I think she's got a max screen time of maybe 3 minutes, right? I mean, she only shows up when she gets Tony, then she appears, then there's that hologram, and then she shows up at the end for like maybe 40 seconds. So I mean, it's not really like she was
crushing the ship, and then Peter Parker asking how she's going to get through the crowd. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah. Like I just thought
Okay.
that was like a little. Yeah, I don't know.
Scarlet Witch almost destroyed Thanos, and yeah, we need Captain Marvel to save the day. Okay.
Yeah. So I will admit that movie. So well, before I go, are you just strictly Marvel, or do you pick up on DC as well?
I do pick up on DC. I'm
Like
really
book, movie.
rediscovering.
Like, do you watch
And
the?
movie wise,
Yeah, movie wise, not comic wise.
oh, oh yeah, movies. I really like, the Tim Burton Batmans, the Christopher Nolan Batmans, the Joker movie. I really like Birds of Prey.
For, ooh, yeah.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Okay, so is there a movie? Let's say, okay, so for example, for me, I Captain Marvel's the only Marvel movie that I basically was like, oh man, like, can this be over? It's the only movie that I've never watched twice. It's
I
the
had that
only
with
movie
Thor: Dark World
I've
and
only
Iron Man 3.
yeah, Iron Man. Okay, Iron Man 3 is a terrible movie. I will
Mm.
admit. I always get that question. I actually got it asked by my good friend Burke. He was talking about it. Even Iron Man 2 was a little suspect, okay? But
Mm.
it was a different time. Okay.
Yeah,
It was like 2010, 11, I think. So I mean,
something like that.
it's yeah. Um I don't know. I've never really been a fan of that character necessarily. I think they've really done it. I mean, she is powerful. Like in the comics, I think she's more powerful than Thor. No, it's the other way around.
According to Brie Larson, yes.
Yeah, Thor is more powerful. Yeah, yeah, I remember that. But like, I think they're trying to make her in the movies because Kevin Fergie is like
Kevin Fard.
he's obsessed with that character for whatever reason. So I'm
Mm.
expecting a bigger role of more badass Brie Larson in this next movie. But then I personally think that she's just gonna get her ass kicked by Rogue.
Yeah,
So
let's hope she will end up in a coma and die.
yeah. Now you touched on Birds of Prey. So what you love that movie?
Which one?
Birds of Prey?
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it actually. I thought it was really entertaining. Thought the colors were nice.
Do you think that they portrayed like say like Black Mask properly and things like that?
Oh,
Or
I am no expert in all those characters. I just discovered the Huntress, so it was nice seeing her in the movie.
yeah.
And yeah, well, Harley Quinn is Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn sells, so.
And that's the thing, it's marketable. That's
And that one lady that plays the cop, seeing her, I think Rosie something, seeing her in all those 90s movies and now seeing her in this new movie, I think that's pretty cool to see. It's the same with Ming-Na Wen and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., seeing her first in Street Fighter movie.
Yeah, I agree with Carlito here. I thought when Suicide Squad was going to come out, I really thought Suicide Squad was going to be like DC's like, hey, we're here. We're going to do great things. And then I remember watching that movie being like, is this a Will Smith movie? Because that's literally all I thought it was. It was a Will Smith movie that was really bad.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah? Oh.
Sorry, people.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
can, you can unsubscribe.
but it's like you said, right? Like they have Harley Quinn. They had a good cast. They had Maggie I always butcher her last name, but the girl that plays Harley Quinn. Then they had Will Smith. Like you had good casting, so it does make sense. Yeah, they're always going to market it, and that's the issue I have with Captain Marvel. I think that they could market it good. It's not necessarily that the movie or the character is good. It's just the fact that they marketed the crap out of it, and they were successful at it.
I kind of didn't like the fact that they put Monica Rambeau in it already, because it would have been nice if she would have taken over as Captain Marvel, but now she's probably like this old lady in this timeline. So I thought that was kind of unfortunate, because that would have also been nice to put more, light on Monica Rambeau as Captain Marvel.
Absolutely, absolutely. So everybody knows that I'm an Iron Man fan. Everyone now knows that you are a Captain Marvel fan.
Oh yeah, showdown.
So I mean, I don't know. I think Iron Man would win. I think Iron Man has a more valuable approach to the comics, and he's I don't know. He's just more badass. He is. I don't know. Up to now, he is what Marvel is, right? So I don't know if Captain Marvel will ever get to that stage. So
movie-wise, no.
Yeah, I think we have to just say that maybe Iron Man is better than Captain Marvel. I don't know.
Because of Robert Downey Jr.
Yes and no, I guess. I mean, he played the perfect role.
Yeah.
However, now, like I remember he had a movie that came out, Dr. Doolittle, I think it is.
He has a lot of shitty movies as well.
Yeah, but I'm watching that movie and I'm expecting like Jarvis to kick in. I'm expecting the suit to come in, and it's not happening. I gotta get into that mindset that it's never gonna happen again, right? So
Poor you.
How'd Civil
There's
War?
so many other Robert Downey Jr. movies you could check out though.
Yeah.
Chaplin.
Yeah. Civil War 2. Yeah, we won't talk about that. I know me and Sanimation here, we are going to have a future live chat where we do talk about Iron Man versus Captain Marvel. We'll probably get into a few other topics with it. Yeah, she's got the book right there. I don't know what to say. You know, like obviously everybody goes with their characters. But if you're going by the comics, I mean, everybody comes up, right? Like everybody dies, everybody comes back to life, everybody, you know, that's just the way comics work. You know, I remember having a friend who was, I think it was when Captain America died a few years ago, and he was like, "Oh my God, like, what am I gonna do?" Right? I'm thinking, I'm like, what do you mean? What are you gonna do? Like, they're gonna bring him back eventually. Like, he's not dead. It's a fictional character. Like, come on, get over it.
The black hole.
Yeah. So you've only been collecting comics for a year, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not a long time, and you're like really into it. I mean, you got characters that you love. You're collecting runs. That's pretty dope. I mean, you got that channel already at 100 subscribers, and you've only been at it for a month.
Month and a half. Yeah.
Month and a half. Like I mean, that's something to be proud of. That's something to be proud of. Now,
I guess.
being a woman in the comic world, like do you find it like different? Do you find that women have like not, I don't know if I should word it like a place in it, because like it's so cool. I think it's really cool when you have women in it, because there is that bias that like all people in comics are like nerds, or they live in their parents' basement and things like that, right? So, like, you know, are you finding that the community is welcoming to you? Like, are you finding that you're able to make connections and things like that?
Yes and no.
Yes and no?
Yeah.
Experiences? Okay.
Well, you know, first off, being a woman in a community, you have, well, here we go, right? You have certain women in the comic community that are like, you know, this is my favorite book, and you see only this of the book and the rest is just tits. And you just have to believe that they're really into it. Or, you know, please take a shot of my ass while I'm pretending to read a comic book, you know. Like, I'm just going to be in my underwear. Oh, I'm so depressed today. Someone give me attention. And the majority of them are fucking married and they have children. Like, oh my God, behave.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there is this thing going on, you know, of course, dress as you want, but.
Yeah. Basically, like, you're going to get the attention of how you basically dress and act. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've also said some people, but you also said that you had good connections and good feedback as well. You want to touch on that?
Oh yeah, like the majority in this chat right here. I remember talking with Kirk last year, and we were both still noobs at DC Comics, I believe, and you know, now we're both reading DC Comics, and we're still, you know, he's my brother of another mother, and G-Man, Sean. You know, people like that are really welcoming, and they've been very supportive, and yeah. Also, people like that are in the community, luckily.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because also a lot of toxic people.
Yeah, I found that there's like a lot of people. I know a lot of the people in the chat right now that I've built a great relationship with in the short time I've been around. It's very welcoming. I don't think I've found somebody who's necessarily like a rotten apple. You know what I mean? Like, I'm Newbie Comics, you know, I'll be the first to say I don't know this. You know, if somebody tells me about an artist, if I'm not sure, I'll ask. Like, I have no problem in just saying, hey, you know what? I actually don't know. Right?
Oh, I don't know shit about artists either. So
yeah, but there's people that will put you on a cross if like you don't know. Like, You know, I've had people be like,
Yeah.
you don't know what that book is, or you don't know what that art, you know, and
You
just,
like 90s comics?
yeah, instead, why don't you just like educate, you know, like get more people in? I think it's cooler. The thing with comics is like, there's so many people who collect differently. I think that that's one of the big ups in this, like, I call it a community. I don't call it like an industry or anything like that. Like in this comic community where, you know, what you collect is different from mine, but it shouldn't be one of those things that like, well, I'm better because I collect this, right? Like there's people who collect Golden Age. Obviously those are, you know, like the richer people, but then you got Silver Age, and in Silver Age you can go into like pretty much anything, right? So it just depends what you're into, and that's something that I love, because every person that I've actually communicated with and talked to and things like that, like I either learn something new, I'm told, hey, look out for this book or look out for this character, and it just educates you a bit more, right? So
yeah, I had that with the live stream of Comic Shop News, I think it's called, with Dan and Jennifer. They really talk a lot about indie books, and yeah, that was really introducing me to indie books, and I got a lot of books because of it. So it's live streams is also opening up to, you know, the whole different things.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. I know that
it's also great.
Yeah, I know sometimes I'll sit and watch, like I'm not really active on the chat. I'm just because I don't know, right? Like so I'll check in on some of the indie stuff because I want to educate myself more in a lot of the titles and a lot of the artists. You know, because there are times where I go to a comic book store and like I have no idea what, you know, maybe 25% of the books are. I'm like, okay, what is this? Or, you know.
Yeah.
But then you see people come in and out of a store and they're picking it up. So you're, you know, my mind goes, okay, is this something I should collect? Is this something I should read? Is this, you know, something like that? So it's interesting for sure.
Yeah, I had that with the book Fateless. I saw so many people grabbing the book Fateless, and I was like, what the fuck is Fateless? You know, I only know the group from the 90s, so, but I picked it up and I was reading it. I was like, oh, okay. But then I was reading the bigger letters on the back with the whole, like, this is like a half porn book, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Did you pick anything up on Wednesday for a new comic book day last week?
No.
No? Is there something you missed that you wanted to get and you just missed, or?
Aside from my brain, I really wanted to get the Catwoman 22 a few weeks ago, but the comic shop that I regularly go to doesn't have a lot of the newer books, so I'm missing out. So I'll probably have to go to trade sooner or later, which kind of sucks because I have all the 21 issues of Catwoman. I have all the issues of Captain Marvel and stuff like that, so it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I'll live.
Is there anything that you're looking forward to on Wednesday coming up, like next week?
I don't even know what's coming out.
No. You guys use what do you guys use as your like main thing? Like I know here we use previews. What do you guys use?
Oh yeah, we also have previews, but I usually go to like new comics this week on Google, whatever. I just Google it and I go to the first random website that shows the comics that are coming out. So
yeah. Do you have a
book? I think it's called Adventure Man of Image Comics that I really want to get, but
there's a guy in here, FaceTime. He actually sent me a picture of, I think it was Rooster Man and Nora. And he said that they were pretty cool books. I think they're indie books. I'm not sure. I'm going to pick them up though. I really want to read them because if he's suggesting them, he knows his stuff. So I'm definitely going to check that out. But yeah, there's a lot of indie stuff where I'm like, no idea. No
same.
Clue. So I had an experience 2 weeks ago. So I have a sister who lives about 2 hours away from me. And I actually got lucky because there was a guy selling on eBay who had a store basically 2 blocks away from her house. So I was able to strike a deal and my sister was able to go to the store and pick up the book for me. So I called her the day to go. She goes, okay, what time should I go? I said, the guy called me, just go in around like noon. So she goes in at noon. I'm not being biased. My sister's beautiful, things like that. So she goes into the store. She grabs the comic book. She comes out. Literally maybe 10 seconds after she leaves the store, she goes, Joel, that is one of the worst experiences I've ever had. And I go, why? She goes, it's like Big Bang, the Big Bang Theory, the show where like the girls come into the comic book store and like everybody's just staring at her. She goes, there was maybe like 16 people in there stare at me, right? And my sister knows nothing about comics, nothing about any of that. She was strictly there to just get the book. Do you have that issue when you go into stores? Like they're just like, oh, this is a girl. So
Yeah, definitely.
I'm,
You know, a lot of men have never seen pussy before that come to the comic shop. So, you know, when a woman walks in, it's like, woohoo, what is that?
yeah. And I'm sure like once you start being like a familiar face, especially in like a shop, right? Like you get noticed by the store owner and things like that, and they, you know, they back you up, like if there
Oh,
are
yeah.
gigs or anything like that, right? I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know.
Yeah, I've had some experiences, but I will not talk about it.
So my good friend, Keys to Everything is here. He is really good. We actually have a video coming, or a live stream coming on Tuesday. We're going to be talking about our top 5 female characters. I'm not sure if Captain Marvel is on any of our lists. I could be wrong. I'm only speaking for myself, but definitely check that out. You know, everybody.
I'll be dissing you, giving you a thumbs down.
You know, it's gonna be a really good time. And yeah, I think just the scene with a lot of the women characters, I think it's something that not a lot of people talk about. So, you know, I like to kind of just do things a little differently. So I think that would be like a really cool subject to talk about, because I feel like we don't give enough credit to some of the, you know, the badass women in the comics, like Scarlet Witch. You know, yes, Captain Marvel is very powerful, but like we never, you know, when you think about comic book characters and things like that, there's not a lot of people that put certain female characters into the conversation. So, you know, it's gonna be.
Yeah, but it's also because you have a lot of angry armpit hair ladies.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying. It kind of makes me embarrassing to say that I like comics. Like, oh, you're probably a feminist.
Yeah.
No.
So speaking of that, you made you got my attention too, and I was laughing, but the art on some of the comics on how they portray women. You have a pretty cool way to, like, you know, like how you talk about like the breast and all that. Like, do you as a woman, do you like the way that they talk, the way that they create the characters nowadays? Like just very, you know, sexual.
Well, nowadays, no. It's just flat-chested, big jaw women. Like, is it a dude?
What's that one comic?
That other thing.
What's that one comic that you said that you were like, oh, this is like the best breast and ass and things like that? What book was that?
The best hits is the Tomb Raider comic that I was reading.
And
she was having some action and.
Yeah, and guys, you could catch some of this stuff on her Q&A that she posted in the last video. It is a great time. It is funny as hell. I would recommend checking it out. Like I said at the beginning, if you haven't subbed to her channel, sub it. She's got an Instagram account. She posts daily. She's a gamer. She's in the comics. Like, this is one of the true naturally cool, not cool naturally cool women in this community. So I thank you guys. If you have subbed to her, if you have followed her on Instagram, definitely do it. She's got more content coming. Like she said, she's only been around for a month. So, you know, more things to come. In a month, she's already hit, I think, 120. So definitely something to look out for. What do you have anything coming up in the near future? Anything dropping or? No, it just comes like
in the toilet. That's the only thing that will be dropping, I guess.
Like videos on YouTube. Like, do you have a certain day that you're going to be dropping certain videos, or is it just all over the place?
No, I'm a woman. I do whenever I feel like it. So
yeah. Okay. So then, guys, definitely hit the notification bell because you know you don't want to miss what she comes up with. But definitely check her out. I'm gonna go to the live chat. There's a few questions here. Carlito says, didn't Stan Lee say Captain Marvel is the most powerful in the Marvel universe? I think she did.
But which one?
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. I just think in the movies, I don't know if it's the movie. Yeah, the movies, I think it's Thor. Right? I think that could be up for debate. I don't know.
Like
but
only in 1 or 2 movies he was really cool. I thought finally there was some justice in Ragnarok and Infinity War. I'm like, yes, this is the Thor that I want to see.
Yeah, back. I didn't like the first two, to be honest with you. I thought they were a little. I don't know. I've touched on that so many times that I just feel like I'm like a record player, just repeating myself when I think about it. Because and I'll say it again, guys. That Thor one. I mean, we see him for about 10 minutes. He loses his power for what seems to be almost 2 hours, and then he gets it back again, only to fight the Destroyer. So I mean, it's just in my books, it was a little lame, and it was just early,
like that Thor.
Yeah, it was early too. So at that time, you only had Iron Man and Thor. So I just thought, maybe they could have done it a little better. So with that gamer comment I made, recognizing that you're a gamer, the grown-up gamer says PlayStation, Xbox, PlayStation.
Yes, I've had bad experiences with Xbox. I only bought the Xbox back in the day because of Dead or Alive Beach Volley, hentai ladies of.
Oh, yeah.
So that was the only reason why I got it. But the Xbox has been dying so many times, left me traumatized. And now I got the PlayStation again. I'm like, yes.
Are you picking up PlayStation 5 by any chance or no?
If I get sponsored.
Hey, you got to have goals. You got to have goals.
Yeah.
You got to have goals. Well, guys, I really want to thank you guys for joining us. We're going on almost an hour. Like I said, if you haven't hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to hers. If you haven't already, you can find her name right there that pops up on the screen. That's where you could find her on Instagram. That's where you could find her on her YouTube. I believe she has her link to YouTube on her bio. So definitely go check that out. And is there anything else you want to touch on or say?
I will not touch anything. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for accepting me. Yay.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll see you guys around. And next time, toe-to-toe. Toe-to-toe.
Yes. So the next time you see both of us on the same screen, we will be debating Iron Man and Captain Marvel.
And Civil War 2.
And Civil War 2, definitely. Okay, guys. So, thanks for joining me. Thanks for coming. Like I said, guys, if you haven't already, sub to her channel. Check her out. Definitely check out the last video she posted. She's down-ass girl. She's pretty cool. Check out her Instagram. And, guys, you know where I am.
Canada.
Yeah, in Canada. I got a video dropping on Monday. And I'm actually going live with Burke and Panda on Monday. We're going to be discussing some movies. And then on Tuesday, I'm doing the live stream on my channel again with Key Issue and Mr. Freeze. We're going to be talking about the top 5 Marvel, or I think we're doing Marvel, but I could be wrong. I think we're doing women, but just the top 5 women characters. So definitely check it out. Cool. All right, guys. So that's it for us.
Bye-bye.
Take care.